The sun hung low over Vega 9, a dusty, rust-colored planet that nobody wanted. Its sky was always orange, choked with the smoke of mining machines that dug for rare metals in the ground. Vega 9 wasn't a home, it was a job. People came here to work, earn credits, and leave as soon as they could. But for Jake Ryder, Vega 9 was all he'd ever known. His parents were miners. His friends, kids whose parents had given up on Earth's crowded cities, hoping for a better life in the stars. They didn't get it. Jake was 18, a cadet in the Terran Defense Corps, a fancy title for someone who spent most of his time cleaning old rifles and watching training videos no one cared about. The Corps was a joke on Vega 9. The colony had one. Broken down hover tank, 3 outdated turrets, and a defense force of 12 people, half of whom were older than dirt. Earth's government said Vega 9 was non-strategic. That meant, we don't care if you die. Jake knew this better than anyone. He'd grown up hearing stories about how Earth's fleets patrolled the galaxy, blasting pirates and aliens into stardust. But those ships never came here. Not even when the Krell showed up. The Krell were nightmares made real. Tall, spindly creatures with black armor and weapons that turned buildings into molten slag. 3 weeks ago, they'd attacked. Vega 9's outer mining stations, no warning, no demands, just fire and screams. The colonists fought back with shovels and welding torches. They lost 47 people. Now the Krell were back. Jake stood on the roof of the colony's command center, staring at the sky. It was 3:14 a.m. The air smelled like burning plastic. In the distance, explosions lit up the horizon. The Krell's ships, ugly, jagged things shaped like claws, hovered over the mining towers, raining down plasma bolts. Screams echoed through the comms channels. "They're hitting the reactor," someone shouted. "Repeat, the reactor's going critical." Jake clenched his fists. The reactor powered the entire colony. If it blew, half the town would vanish. "Where's Earth?" Jake muttered. "Where's the damn fleet?" He already knew the answer. Nowhere. Earlier that day, he'd hacked into a classified military channel. Accidentally, sort of. He'd been trying to fix the colony's busted radio when he stumbled on a transmission from the SS Indomitable, a frigate orbiting a gas giant 2 systems away. The message was simple. Ignore Vega 9, do not engage. Orders from Earth Command. Jake's stomach twisted. How could they abandon their own people? Below him, the colony's leader, Mayor Delgado, argued with the last surviving officer of the Terran Defense Corps. "Call Earth again," Delgado yelled. "Tell them we need help." "They won't come," the officer snapped. "We're not important enough." Jake couldn't listen anymore. He ran down the stairs past panicked civilians clutching children in suitcases and sprinted to the comms tower. It was a skeletal structure of metal and wires half buried in sand. The door was locked, but Jake had picked worse locks before. Inside, the control panel blinked weakly. Most of the systems were offline, but the emergency transmitter still worked. He hesitated. If he used it, Earth Command would know. They'd court-martial him. Maybe worse. Outside, another explosion shook the ground. A child screamed. Jake slammed his hand on the transmit button. The screen flickered. Signal strength, 12%. Not great. He rerouted power from the backup generators. Wires sparking. The Krell were jamming frequencies, but Jake found a loophole. Old pirate codes he'd learned from a friend who sold black market tech. He typed fast, fingers trembling. Urgent. Vega 9 under attack. Requesting immediate assistance. Civilians in peril. He added coordinates, the colony's ID number, and a final line. If Earth won't help us, we'll find someone who will. Jake hit send. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the screen flashed red. Transmission intercepted. Uh-oh. The tower door burst open. 2 colonial officers stormed in, guns raised. "Step away from the console." Jake froze. You just doomed us all," one officer snarled. "You think Earth wants rebels? You think the Krell won't track that signal?" "I was trying to save people." "Toxic kid," the other officer growled. yanking Jake's arms behind his back. Handcuffs clicked as they dragged him outside. Jake saw the Krell ships pivot toward the colony's center. Had they noticed the signal? Was this his fault? He didn't care. Let them come. Word count. 500. Halfway there. Need to expand? Add details like Jake's memories of his father's stories about Earth's heroism, flashbacks to the first Krell attack, burning bodies, a friend's death. The officers fear they're not evil, just broken by years of neglect. The Krell's POV, their ships scanning the signal, their alien voices plotting revenge. Jake Ryder's wrists ached. The cuffs were too tight, biting into his skin as the colonial officers shoved him into a rusty hover truck. Outside the cracked windows, Vega 9's sky glowed red. Explosions lit up the streets. People ran, dragging kids and suitcases through the smoke. The Krell were closing in. "You think you're a hero?" one officer spat. "You just got us all killed." Jake didn't answer. His mind raced. Did the signal work? Was anyone listening? The truck screeched to a stop at the colony's jail, a converted storage shed with a flickering neon sign. Security office. The officers dragged him inside, past empty desks and broken chairs. A single bulb swung from the ceiling, casting shaky shadows. "Lock him up," the older officer growled. Jake's cell was a cramped box of steel and dust. The door clanged shut. Through the barred window he saw the officers arguing. "We should have evacuated hours ago." Orders said to stay and contain the situation. Contain it. How? With what? Jake slumped onto the cold floor. His ears buzzed. What now? He'd gambled everything on that signal. If Earth didn't come, outside a deafening roar shook the building. The lights died. A new sound filled the air, deep, rhythmic thrums like thunder trapped in a metal cage. Jake scrambled to his feet, pressing his face to the bars. Through the smoke he saw it, a ship, not Krell. Terran, sleek, gray, and huge. It sliced through the sky like a knife. The SS Indomitable, its name glowing faintly on the hull. Jake's breath caught. They came. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Lieutenant Caravos gripped her console, knuckles white. Alarm screamed. Red lights flashed. "Commander, Earth Command is furious," shouted her XO, a stiff-necked man named Captain Rourke. "You've just declared mutiny." Kara didn't flinch. Her eyes stayed locked on the view screen, where Vega 9's burning surface filled the display. "I'm saving human lives," she said. "Now shut up and plot me a combat course." The crew hesitated. Half the bridge officers were frozen, torn between loyalty to Earth and the horror unfolding below. Then Tali, the purple-haired gunner, slammed her fist on her station. "Let's blow some alien brains." The room erupted. Some cheered, others muttered prayers. Rourke stepped forward, hand hovering near his sidearm. "You'll hang for this, Voss." Kara turned slowly, her stare colder than deep space. "Then I'll hang with a clean conscience. You still want to argue?" Rourke backed down. "Good. All ahead full. Take us in." Back on Vega 9, chaos reigned. The Krell ships banked hard, adjusting to the new threat. Their plasma cannons swiveled toward the Indomitable. Jake's cell door burst open. A blast of heat knocked him flat. The jail's roof had vanished, replaced by a hole smoldering with fire. The officers were gone, either vaporized or fleeing. Jake stumbled outside, coughing through ash. The Krell were everywhere. Three-legged drones skittered down the street, firing blue bolts that melted walls into slag. A towering walker stomped toward the colony's center, its cannon charging. Jake, ducked behind a flipped hovercar, his chest heaved. Run, hide, die. No. He remembered his dad's words. When the world's on fire, you don't wait for heroes. You be one. Jake sprinted toward the nearest mining garage. The door hung open, revealing a graveyard of half-fixed drills and bulldozers. He grabbed a welding torch, then yanked open a supply locker. Inside, old pulse rifles, rusted but loaded. He slung one over his shoulder and ran. The Indomitable, shuddered as enemy fire grazed its shields. Shields at 85%, Tally yelled. These bugs don't know what hit them yet. Kara grinned. Let's keep it that way. Target their command ship. If we fry their leader, the swarm might scatter. Rourke, still fuming, muttered, You're flying blind, Voss. This is suicide. Maybe. But I'd rather die fighting than live watching kids burn. She punched the attack button. Railgun rounds screamed. Jake reached the reactor control tower, gasping. Smoke choked the air. Through the haze, he saw a group of miners huddled behind a barricade of shipping crates. One held a fire extinguisher. Like a club, you want to live? Jake shouted. Grab a gun. A grizzled woman glared. Kid, we're not soldiers. Neither am I. But those things will kill us all if we don't fight. Silence. Then the woman snatched a rifle. What's the plan? Jake looked at the reactor's fuel tanks. An idea formed, crazy suicide. Just like me. We trap 'em, he said. The indomitable dove like a hawk, railguns tearing into the Krell command ship. Alien armor peeled away like paper. Direct hit, Tally whooped. Their comms are down. Kara's grin faded. They're still shooting. Because they don't care, Rourke snapped. They're animals. No, Kara said quietly. They're scared. We're not supposed to fight back. Outside, the Krell fleet regrouped, surrounding the frigate. Sir, a navigator yelled. We're picking up a second signal from the planet. Localized. It's coordinates? Jake's voice crackled over the comms, urgent and raw. Indomitable. This is Ryder. Target the reactor grid. I've got a plan. Kara blinked. That's the kid who sent the signal? The one we arrested? Yes. Patch him through. Jake's face appeared on screen. A sweaty, soot-covered teenager with fire in his eyes. Cadet Ryder, Kara said. You'd better be brilliant. I'm not. But I'm desperate. Listen. 10 minutes later, the Krell walker loomed over the reactor. Its sensors scanned the area, searching for threats. Nothing. Suddenly, a rock clattered. The walker turned. Jake stood in the open, waving his arms. Hey, ugly, over here! The drone opened fire. Jake bolted, sprinting down a narrow alley. The walker followed, its legs crushing buildings. Come on, Jake muttered. He reached the end of the alley, a dead end. The walker raised its cannon. Then the ground exploded. Jake's team had rigged the fuel tanks. Fire erupted, engulfing the machine. It screeched, thrashing blindly until it collapsed into molten scrap. Jake lay flat, ears ringing. Alive. Nice, the grizzled miner yelled. But how many more are out there? Jake looked up. Dozens. Run, he whispered. The Indomitable fired its last volley. Shields failed. Hull breaches opened like wounds. We're dead in 60 seconds. Tally, cried. Kara stared at the screen, watching Vega 9's surface burn. Heroes aren't born. They're made when the world gives up. Rourke, she said. You ever fire a rifle? What? Grab one. We're boarding. Are you insane? Probably. She turned to the crew. All hands. Prepare for emergency drop pod. Launch. We're going down. Jake's team fought through the streets, buying time. They used mining charges, flamethrowers, even a junkyard bulldozer rigged to explode. Then the sky lit up. Dozens of drop pods streaked through the atmosphere. Trailing fire, the Indomitable's crew, armed and screaming, poured into the colony. Jake stared, stunned. A voice boomed over the comms. This is Lieutenant Voss. We're here to fight. Rally to my position. Jake grinned. For the first time in days, hope felt real. The mutineers had arrived. The Krell didn't scream when they died. They hissed. A sound like air leaking from a punctured suit, sharp, wet, and wrong. Jake Ryder heard it for the first time as he shoved a burning drone off a rooftop, its metal legs still twitching. Clear, he yelled, ducking behind a smokestack as plasma bolts seared the air. Below, the streets were a mess of fire and chaos. Kara Voss's mutineers fought like cornered wolves, their stolen armor scorched and dented. Miners with welding torches and excavator claws held barricades, trading shots with Krell scouts. The aliens moved like spiders, skittering over rubble, their black exoskeletons glinting in the smoke. Jake sprinted across the roof, clutching a stolen alien pistol, its grip too big for his hands, its weight dragging him down. He'd traded his last grenade for it, ripping it off a dead Krell's belt. Stupid, he thought. Should have kept the grenade. A shadow passed overhead. He looked up. The Indomitable hung low in the sky, its hull pockmarked with holes. Flares shot from its thrusters as it dodged incoming fire. Drop pods rained down, slamming into buildings and streets, each one bursting open to release more of Kara's crew. One pod overshot the colony, crashing into the desert. It didn't move again. Jake's comms crackled. "Ryder, you alive?" It was Kara. Her voice was raw, like she'd been shouting for hours. "Barely," Jake shouted back. "West Side's collapsing. They're pushing us toward the reactor." "I know, we're buying time. Keep them busy." "Busy? We're outgunned, outmanned, and keep them busy." The line died. Jake cursed, ducking as a drone flew past, its sensors scanning for targets. He fired the alien pistol, 3. Quick shots, but the drone didn't flinch. The pistol's ammo pinged harmlessly off its armor. Great. Useless. He hurled it off the roof. It clanged against a fuel tank below, sparking a small explosion. The drone turned, curious. Jake ran. Kara Voss slammed her fist on the Indomitable's comms panel, her knuckles splitting. Blood smeared the screen. "Earth. Command's jamming us," she snarled. "We've got no backup, no evac, and no way out." Her XO, Captain Rourke, leaned against a shattered console, clutching his side. A gash ran down his cheek, oozing greenish blood. "Told you," he rasped. "We're dead." "Not yet." Kara spun to her crew. "Tali, how many railgun rounds left?" 3. The gunner's purple hair was matted with sweat. "And the engines are screaming like dying cows." Kara stared at the tactical display. Red dots, Krell ships, surrounded, Vega 9. Blue dots, her crew, were scattered like crumbs. The aliens were herding them, pushing the humans toward the colony's center, toward the reactor. "They want the reactor," Kara muttered. "They're not here to kill us. They're here to take something." Rourke laughed bitterly. "You think this is about minerals? Those things don't care about rocks." "No," Kara said slowly. "They care about power. The reactor's fusion core. It's a weapon if you know how to use it." Tali blinked. "You're saying they want to steal it? To blow something bigger? Maybe Earth?" Kara turned. To Rourke. "How long to overload the reactor?" "You'll fry half the colony." "How long?" 10 minutes, if you're insane enough." Kara grabbed her comms. "Ryder, you hearing this? We're blowing the reactor. Evacuate the east. Quadrant?" Jake's voice crackled back, shaky. "What? You'll kill us all. Not if you run faster than the blast." "You're crazy. So are you. Now move." Jake stumbled into an alley, his lungs burning. The grizzled miner, her name was Mara, was waiting, reloading a jury-rigged shotgun. "You look like space trash," she grunted. "Feel like it," Jake gasped. "We gotta pull back, east side." "Why?" "Voss is blowing the reactor." Mara froze. "She'll flatten the whole town." "She says it's the only way to stop the Krell." Mara spat. "Stupid plan, but better than dying here." She raised her voice. "Fall back. Move to the east." The remaining miners retreated, dragging wounded comrades. Jake stayed at the rear, covering their escape with Mara's old pistol. Shots rang out. A Krell scout lunged from a window. Its claw sliced his shoulder, but Mara blew its head off with a point-blank blast. Jake gritted his teeth. The pain was sharp, hot, but he kept running. The Krell commander knew something was wrong. Its name, if humans could pronounce it, translated roughly to Hunter of Broken Shields. It crouched inside the command walker, its multifaceted eyes scanning data streams. The humans were retreating too quickly, too orderly. Then the reactor's energy. Signature spiked, threat detected. Hunter of Broken Shields clicked orders to its swarm. The drones reversed course, abandoning their advance to shield the reactor. Too late. Kara's voice boomed from the Indomitable's speakers. Fire in the hole! The frigate's last railgun round screamed downward, piercing the reactors. Roof impact, light sound, heat. Everything went white. Jake felt the explosion before he heard it. A wave of pressure slammed into his back, hurling him forward. He hit the ground hard, dirt and debris pelting his body. The sky turned orange, then black. When he opened his eyes, the reactor was gone. In its place, a glowing crater, steaming and smoking. The Krell were gone too, or what was left of them. The blast had shredded their front lines. Drones lay in molten heaps. The walker's carcass smoldered, its legs twisted like noodles. Surviving aliens screeched, retreating to their ships. Jake staggered up, ears ringing. Mara limped beside him, her face streaked with ash. Did we win? She whispered. Jake didn't answer. The Indomitable groaned as its engines sputtered. Kara gripped the helm, staring at the crater. Shields, 12%. Life support failing, Tali reported. We're not going home, boss. Kara smiled. We're already home. The Krell fleet regrouped, their surviving ships forming a tight formation. They weren't running. They were preparing to finish what they started. Rourke coughed blood. We die here. Kara's smile faded. Not today. She grabbed the comms, broadcasting on every frequency. This is Lieutenant Kara Voss of the SS Indomitable. To any Terran ship listening, we're under attack. We're outgunned. We're outnumbered. But we're still human. So if you're out there, if you care about what that means, get your butts down here and fight. Silence. Then static. A voice crackled through. This is the SS Retribution. We read you, Indomitable. Holding position at Vega 9's edge. Requesting. Orders. Kara's heart stopped. More voices followed. SS Dawn's edge joining the fight. Battleship Titan's Wrath en route. We see you, Lieutenant. We're coming. The Krell turned. Dozens of Terran warships tore through the sky, their engines blazing. Jake looked up, squinting through the smoke. Hope again. The sky above Vega 9 churned with fire and metal. Earth's fleet had arrived, but not all ships came to fight. The SS Retribution, Titan's Wrath, and Dawn's Edge soared into the fray, railguns blazing. Krell ships exploded in showers of green flame. But behind them, two more vessels lingered at the system's edge, the SS Dominion and battle carrier Osiris. Their hulls gleamed, untouched by battle. On the Indomitable's bridge, Kara Voss squinted at the tactical display. Why aren't they joining the fight? They're waiting, muttered Captain Rourke, his wound patched with duct tape and desperation. Waiting for orders or for something else. Jake Ryder stumbled onto the bridge, his face smudged with ash and blood. Mara limped behind him, clutching a smoking shotgun. You're alive, Kara said, relief flashing in her voice. Barely, Jake rasped. What's happening out there? Kara pointed to the Dominion and Osiris. Those ships have been ordered to hold position. Earth Command still doesn't care about Vega 9. Jake's fists clenched. They saw the broadcast. They know what's at stake. Doesn't matter, Rourke snapped. Earth's politicians don't care about colonies. They care about power. If Vega 9's reactor was a weapon, they'll let the Krell take it, or use it themselves. A new alarm blared. Sir, Tali shouted. Something's rising from the crater. The view screen flickered, zooming in on the smoldering reactor site. From the molten pit, a tower emerged, sleek, black, and alien. It pulsed with light, humming like a dying star. It's not a tower, Mara whispered. It's a ship. No, worse, a Krell. Queen. The beast rose, its body a grotesque fusion of organic flesh and machine. Tentacles coiled around the reactors, core siphoning energy. Its eyes glowed red as it scanned the battlefield. She's the reason they came, Kara breathed. They weren't here for the colony. They were here to build her. Jake's comms crackled. Ryder. Move. It was a new voice, cold, metallic. He froze. Who's that? Mara demanded. I don't. You awakened her. Now you'll die with the rest. A shadow fell over them. Jake turned. A Krell scout drone hovered outside the Indomitable, its belly opening to reveal a sleek silver pod. Inside, a human in black armor. His face was hidden, but his voice echoed in Jake's mind. Smooth. Familiar. Commander Locke. Jake whispered. Locke had trained him. Taught him to shoot, to fight, to survive. Then he'd vanished after calling. Vega 9 a lost cause, now he was back, and he was with the Krell. Traitor, Kara hissed, Locke's helmet tilted. Not a traitor, a realist. Earth's leaders are weak. The Krell? They understand strength. Join us and you'll rule the stars. Resist and you'll burn like the rest. Jake stepped forward, his stolen pistol shaking in his hand. You taught me to protect people. And now I'm protecting the future. Locke raised his arm. A Krell walker emerged from the smoke, its cannon charging. Run, Cadet. The Indomitable's hull shuddered as the walker fired. Alarm screamed. Lights died. Shields down, Tali yelled. We're a sitting duck. Kara grabbed the helm. Jake, Mara, get to the surface. Take out that queen before she finishes charging. Jake didn't hesitate. He bolted for the hangar, Mara at his heels. The drop pod hit the ground with a bone-rattling crash. Jake kicked open the hatch, coughing through smoke. Vega 9's air was toxic now, thick with ash and radiation. The queen loomed ahead, her tentacles snaking into the crater. Around her, Krell drones formed a wall of fire. We're dead, Mara muttered. Maybe. Jake checked his rifle. Empty. He tossed it aside, grabbing a plasma torch from the pod. But we're taking that thing with us. A voice crackled in his earpiece. Ryder, you've got company. Kara again. Jake looked up. The Dominion and Osiris had moved. Their railguns targeted the Queen, but also the Indomitable and the colony's survivors. They're firing on us, Kara shouted. Rourke's voice followed, bitter and broken. Earth Command's pulling rank. They want the Queen alive. They'll sacrifice Vega 9 to get her. Jake's stomach turned. They're worse than the Krell. Then stop them. Kara growled. We've got the Queen. You handle the traitors. Jake turned to Mara. Can you rig the reactor's fuel lines to blow? Blow. That'll take out half the planet. Good. Let's make 'em regret coming here. Above. The Indomitable weaved through fire. Kara gritted her teeth watching the Dominion's guns rotate toward her ship. Tali, target the Dominion's engines. Rourke, patch me into every comms channel. You're declaring war on Earth? Tali asked. If Earth won't protect, us will protect ourselves. The line connected. Kara's voice boomed across the fleet. This is Lieutenant Voss. These cowards would let the Krell enslave us to steal their technology. If you're still loyal to humanity, and not politics, join me now. Silence. Then a reply. SS Dawn's edge-breaking formation, firing on Dominion. A Titan's wrath with you, Voss. We're with you, boss. Ships peeled away from the Dominion and Osiris, turning their guns on the traitors. The sky became a battlefield. Below, Jake and Mara sprinted through the ruins, dodging drone fire. Mara planted charges on the reactor's fuel tanks, while Jake held off a squad of Krell scouts with a stolen plasma cannon. Done, Mara yelled. Jake grabbed her arm. Run! They sprinted as the tanks erupted behind them, a shockwave of fire and shrapnel. The Krell drones disintegrated. The Queen screamed, her tentacles whipping wildly. But she was still alive. Above, the Indomitable dove, low, Kara, at the helm. Hold on. The frigate's engines roared as she rammed the Queen's core, railgun rounds firing point blank. The beast screeched, her body convulsing. Jake stared up breathless. Then the Indomitable exploded. Fire. Metal. Silence. Jake dropped to his knees. No. The Queen collapsed. Her core shattered. The remaining Krell fled, their ships vanishing into hyperspace. The Dominion and Osiris were crippled, their crews surrendering. The battle was over. Jake stood at the crater's edge, staring at the wreckage. Mara clapped his shoulder. She saved us. Jake nodded. Yeah, but at what cost? A voice crackled in his ear. Weak, familiar. Ryder, you alive? Jake's heart leapt. Kara? Barely. Life pod ejected. We're survivors. Find us. Jake grinned. We'll find you. Promise. Behind them, Vega 9's sky cleared. The stars blinked through the smoke. For the first time in days, the colony was quiet. Alive. The dust settled on Vega 9, but the work never stopped. Jake Ryder stood on the edge of the crater, staring into the molten scar where the Krell Queen had died. Behind him, survivors patched wounds, rebuilt shelters, and scavenged supplies from wrecked ships. The air still smelled of fire and metal, but for the first time in days, it didn't smell like death. Mara limped up, her shotgun slung over one shoulder. You look like a ghost, she said. Jake didn't answer. His eyes stayed on the horizon where Earth's fleet hovered, half heroes, half traitors. The Dominion and Osiris were crippled, their crews imprisoned by loyalist ships. But the politicians hadn't left. They were already arguing about what happened here. They're gonna spin this, Mara muttered. Call us rebels, call Kara a criminal. Jake's fists clenched. She saved us. And Earth won't forgive her for it. Back on the Indomitable's life pod, Kara Voss groaned as medics stitched her arm. The pod had crash-landed in the desert hours ago, but her crew had survived. Tali sat nearby, her purple hair singed to a dull gray. We're fugitives now, Tali said. Earth Command'll hunt us. Kara smirked. Let 'em try. She grabbed her comms. Patch me through to Vega 9. I need to talk to Ryder. Jake's earpiece buzzed. Cadet Ryder, you still breathing? His breath caught. Kara? Still kicking. Listen, we're not done. That queen wasn't the end of it. What do you mean? Her signal. Before she died, she sent something. Coordinates. I'm reading a Krell fleet gathering near Proxima Centauri. Jake's stomach dropped. They're regrouping. Worse, they're building something bigger. If we don't stop them, Vega 9 won't be the first planet they burn. Jake stared at the sky. The stars looked different now. Not distant. Not untouchable. They were battlefields waiting to happen. I'll find you, he said. We'll stop them. Good. But first you've got a planet to save. Earth's politicians arrived the next day. A sleek diplomatic shuttle landed in the colony's center, flanked by armed guards. Out stepped Senator Halverson, a man with a silver suit and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Jake met him head-on. You're the cadet who disobeyed orders, Halverson said, studying him like a bug under glass. Jake stood straighter. I saved lives. Halverson sighed. Yes, unfortunately. The public loves a hero, even a stupid one. He gestured to the ruins. Earth Command will rebuild Vega 9. We'll call this a tragic accident. Jake's jaw tightened. What about Kara, her crew? Halverson's smile vanished. Mutineers. Traitors. They'll hang if we catch them. Jake stepped forward, voice low. If you touch them, I'll make sure. Every colony knows what you did here, how you let us die. Halverson's eyes narrowed. You're bold, Cadet. But don't forget, Earth makes heroes, and Earth breaks them. He turned, disappearing into his shuttle. Weeks passed. Vega 9's. Survivors built a new town from wreckage. Miners turned engineers rigged power grids. Kara's mutineers became the colony's new defense force. Jake trained them, teaching tactics he'd stolen from old war manuals. Mara watched him work, shaking her head. You're not a kid anymore, Jake. Didn't answer. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a soldier. Then the message came, a video feed from Earth's colonies. Protesters filled the streets holding signs. Free the mutineers. And Vega 9 lives matter. Tali's voice crackled over the comms. You did it, Ryder. The truth's out. Jake stared at the screen. Hope was a rare thing. But here it was, burning bright. 6 months later, Jake stood on the bridge of the SS Reckoning, a refitted freighter Kara had stolen from a Krell convoy. The crew was patched together, mutineers, miners, and defectors from Earth's fleet. They called themselves the Iron Pact. Kara leaned on the helm, her arm in a sling. You ready? Jake nodded. The coordinates blinked on the screen. Proxima Centauri, the Krell's new base. Let's show them Earth doesn't burn easy. The Reckoning lurched into hyperspace. Behind them, Vega 9's lights faded. Ahead, the stars waited.